You don't get a nickname like Deebo without being tough. Deebo Samuel, wide receiver, South Carolina. Up next in our NFL Draft Profile Series.
The NFL Draft Profile Series. NFL prospects. Break it down. Let's get it. People's pen and the gridiron scholar. Time to do it major. Let's see who running the field. Let's analyze the data. Yeah, let's go.
When you first think of Deebo, you think of the neighborhood bully from the movie Friday, which I'm sure everybody's seen by now. And if you weren't sure, yeah, you guessed it right. That's where Deebo Samuel gets his nickname from. His actual name is Tyshun, but his dad nicknamed him Deebo because he was the neighborhood bully. He said when he would take him around to friends' houses, he was always taking stuff from the other kids in the neighborhood, and they just named him Deebo because he was Deebo and everything. Well, he does the same on the football field. This guy is strong. He's tough. He's quick. I don't understand, John, why I'm not seeing as much love for Deebo Samuel as what I personally have for him. He won the week in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. Everybody came around on this guy, and it still doesn't seem to have trickled down and translated to the majority of people. You've not had a chance to look at Deebo Samuel's tape and film and evaluate him. What are the impressions you come away with?
Andy, you're absolutely correct, because I was more impressed after I took a closer look on film. Now, I had watched him a little bit throughout his last two seasons, but when I got a much closer look, this young man can play on my team any day of the week. This year, he was the 2018 All-SEC return specialist and all-purpose first team. He is a very versatile player, and I love that. He does look like a bully on the football field. He does play with anger and purpose, and you see that on the film. And he's an electrifying returner. He has had 42 career kickoffs returned for 1,219 yards and 4 touchdowns during his career. So you can plug and play him immediately in the NFL as a special teamer, and he'll bring a swagger to your special teams. Not only will he be productive, but he's going to, you're returning the opening kickoff. He's going to play and get excited, and he might run a few people over. I mean, I just like this kid to set the table for my football team. The numbers are not as great as you would like to see because 2 years ago, he suffered a broken leg in the third quarter versus Kentucky, and he missed the remainder of the season. But go back to 2016, he was the Steve Spurrier Award winner as the offensive MVP of the Gamecocks. I can look at 3 career stats before we go into the combine with Deebo, and he comes very close to hitting all 3 of my benchmarks. He has 148 career receptions. I would have loved 150, but remember, he missed the majority of the 2017 season, so he would have easily shattered that if he had played. Yards per reception, he had 14 yards per reception. I like to see 15, but that's part of his style, part of his game. He's not a huge vertical threat. Team catch share. I like when you have the alpha male who exceeds 25% of the team catch share. Last year for the Gamecocks, he was at 24%. So he's super close. And he did have another player, Braylon Edwards, who's another very good wide receiver. So maybe on a different team without so much talent around him, he would have easily gotten over that 25% hurdle. So he's so close on all 3 of my benchmarks. The productivity's there, and I like this young man. Now let's look at the scouting report. Hey, 5'11", 216-pound senior. He is a physical runner who is competitive with a well-built frame. But he's not just a bully. He's smooth, savvy, and graceful athlete. He's got very good quickness and body control. Stupendous hand-eye coordination. Incredibly strong hands. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this and you saw him in person at the Senior Bowl. He easily plucks the football out of the air with one hand, and everything near him he latches onto. He's elusive and agile in space. That's why he's such a good returner. He beats press coverage off the line of scrimmage. He has lateral quickness. He darts in and out of space. My concerns about him. He's not a speed demon, and he will not challenge the defenses vertically on every play. I think he's going to be a little scheme dependent. Can he get over the safeties? He has a limited catch radius at 5'11", but it's okay, and he's good in the red zone. And he occasionally drops the football. Right now, Andy, I have a second-round grade on Deebo Samuel, and I would love to have him on my football team. I can't wait to hear your perspective after you saw him live at the Senior Bowl.
I love the second-round grade that you gave him because I think that's premium wide receiver talent. I mean, when we look at wide receivers that can go as high as, top 5 overall, to be given a second-round grade, I think is still saying he's one of the better ones in this class, which doesn't always match up with where I'm seeing people have him ranked as we enter the combine, as we go through this whole draft season process. I keep seeing the health issue, but why? He had a broken leg. That's a freakish kind of thing, not a red flag in my opinion. You look at other players in this class like Rodney Anderson, who had 3 season-ending injuries in his 4 years at Oklahoma. That's a red flag. You look at a guy like DK Metcalf, another wide receiver in this class, who missed the season because of a neck injury. That's a red flag. with Deebo Samuel, we're talking about a broken leg. He's played through other injuries. This is a tough guy. Again, I go back to the nickname. You do not get given a nickname like this that officially becomes your name if you're not that tough. He's listed as a slot and or a complementary type of receiver, but this guy can do it all, John, and from any spot on the field. People want to point to his size. He measured in at 5'11 and a half and 216 pounds at the Senior Bowl. And that goes to what people say when you might see them comparing him to a running back when the ball is in his hands. He's thick, he's stocky, but he's not short. He's just under the 6 foot threshold, which is good for a receiver. He doesn't have to be 6'4". He's more than just a slot guy, but that's primarily where he'll probably line up, and he's going to win there. He can do it all, John, from anywhere. He was amongst elite competition. People forget sometimes that the Senior Bowl is an all-star level game, and he was doing whatever he wanted. That's why everybody was raving about him, because he absolutely won the week. He was consistent from practice 1 through practice 3. He handled everything properly on the field, off the field, and there was no match for what he could do with his speed, with his quickness, with his strength. Every ability he flashed. Now, he was 8th in the nation with 20 red zone targets. He's a bully. This is the kind of guy you want. He's going to get the looks and attention when your team is in the red zone, and that's what this game is all about, scoring touchdowns. So, John, there's really not a lot I can see to knock this guy on other than certain things like he had a 29.6 dominator rating. That's just under where people in the metric crowd want your dominator rating to be before they really fall in love with you. He just turned 23 in January, so he's a little old for the fantasy football world and the dynasty world in particular. But 23 is still a spring chicken in my book. I mean, I'm 20 years older than that, so I'll take the guy who can come in and from day one make an impact because he's got the strength to play at this level and the speed and the quickness and the smarts, the whole route running ability, the full tree is there from what I can see. This is a guy who's going to come in and be able to make an immediate impact from day one and give you that nice 5 to 10 year window. So what's wrong with the age being 23? I don't know. Maybe I'm too high on Deebo Samuel. Let me know if I should bring it down a notch, but I really, really, really like this receiver. And I think what's driving me more than anything is that I don't seem to see anybody else having the same affection. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Tell us what you think of Deebo. Is he somebody that you're targeting in your fantasy drafts, or is he somebody you'd be excited about if your team landed him in the real world? Thanks for watching today. Check out expandtheboxscore.com, and make sure you check out all the other posts right here on Dynasty League Football and all the other players we're covering in our 2019 Profile Series.